let's just keep all this talky stuff in one episode, and let's just tackle the Codex right now. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, Codex, here we go. Aliens, council races, Asari religion. Here we go. The pantheistic mainstream Asari religion is Siari. Really? Siari? It's almost it's almost not an acronym. What is it? Almost a, I was gonna say palindrome, but it's not almost a palindrome either. It's, what's the thing when you mix up the words? Mix up the letters, rather. Shit. You guys are saying it right now. I know you are. Palindrome is where you reverse a word, and it's the same backwards and forwards. It's not a palindrome. It is I can't think of it. I'll think of it as soon as I'm done recording, probably. Anyway, Siari. They should have come up with something different than Siari. It's not a perfect one because there's 2 A's and 1 I, whereas here there's 2 I's and 1 A, but still. Come on. Which translates roughly as all is one. The faithful agree on certain core truths. The universe is a consciousness, every life within it is an aspect of the greater whole, and death is a merging of one's spiritual energy back into the greater universal consciousness. Siarists don't specifically believe in reincarnation. They believe that spiritual energy returned to the universal consciousness upon death will eventually be used to fill new mortal vessels. Siari became popular after the Asari left their homeworld and discovered the ability to meld with nearly any form of life. This ability is seen as proof that all life is fundamentally similar. Siari priestesses see their role as promoting unity between the disparate shards of the universe's awareness. Before the rise of Siari pantheism, Asari religions were as diverse as their political opinions. The strongest survivor of those days is the monotheistic religion worshipping the goddess Athame. Like the Asari, the goddess cycles through the triple aspects of maiden, matron, and matriarch. Salarian biology. Salarians are noted for their high-speed metabolism, which allows them to function on just 1 hour of sleep a day. Oh my god, that would be amazing. Imagine how much you could get done with 23 hours in a day. Their minds and bodies work faster than most sapient races, making them seem restless or hyperactive. The drawback of this active metabolism is a short lifespan of around 40 human years. Okay, that is a drawback, yep. The Salarians are amphibian, haplodiploid egg layers. Unfertilized eggs produce males, and fertilized eggs produce females. Once a year, a Salarian female will lay a clutch of dozens of eggs. Social rules prevent all but a fraction from being fertilized. As a result, 90% of the species is male. Ooh, doesn't sound very attractive. Salarians have photographic memories and rarely forget a fact. They also possess a form of psychological imprinting, tending to defer to those they knew in their youth. Salarian hatching is a solemn ritual in which the clan Dalatrus, or matriarch, isolates herself with the eggs. The young Salarians psychologically imprint on her and tend to defer to her wishes. Aww. Can you imagine how cute that would be? A room with the Dalatrus and like 300 Salarian hatchlings. Oh, that'd be so cute. They'd be all hopping around. During the hatching of daughters, the Dalatruses of the mother and father's clans are present at the imprinting. This ensures the offspring have equal loyalty to both, ensuring the desired dynastic and political unity. Turian government. Let me take a drink really quick. The Turian government is a hierarchical meritocracy. While it has great potential for misuse, this is tempered by the civic duty and personal responsibility Turians learn in childhood. Turians have 27 citizenship tiers. Jesus Christ, that's too many. Beginning with civilians, client races, and children. The initial period of military service is the second tier. Formal citizenship is conferred at the third tier after boot camp. For client races, citizenship is granted after the individual musters out. Higher-ranked citizens are expected to lead and protect subordinates. Lower-ranked citizens are expected to obey and support superiors. Promotion to another tier of citizenship is based on the personal assessments of one's superiors and co-rankers. Throughout their lives, Turians ascend to higher tiers and are occasionally demoted to lower ones. The stigma associated with demotion lies not on the individual, but on those who promoted him when he wasn't ready for additional responsibility. This curbs the tendency to promote individuals into positions beyond their capabilities. Settling into a role and rank is not considered stagnation. Turians value knowing one's own limitations more than being ambitious. That's a very cool value, I think. Again, speaking as someone who works in the business world, but is not an actual businessman, ambition is overrated, I feel. There's not enough room in the world for people who lack ambition. Plenty of people who would be perfectly content to do exactly what they are doing for the rest of their lives, and they are treated as if they're inferior or undeserving of any kind of accolade for it. When the reality is that the people who have tons of ambition and exceed and achieve and all this other crap wouldn't be able to do so nearly to the level that they do if it weren't for a large percentage of the population being content to do exactly what they do and removing competition for them. So I feel like people who are ambitious get too much applause simply because they're ambitious, when they're actually working on the shoulders of a bunch of other people who don't care to share the spotlight that much. I sound a little bitter there, I'm sorry. You're learning a little bit about me, I suppose. At the top are the Primarchs, who each rule a colonization cluster. The Primarchs vote on matters of national import. They otherwise maintain a, quote, hands-off policy, trusting the citizens on each level below them to do their jobs competently. Turians enjoy broad freedoms. Can I just say I hate the word freedoms? Freedoms just sounds so pedestrian. I think you can use the word freedom as a singular or a plural. You don't need freedoms. And even if you did need freedoms, you have the word liberties. Liberties means exactly what freedoms means, only doesn't sound retarded. In American politics especially, there's a lot of talk of, they're taking away our freedoms, which just bugs me so much. Just say freedom. You're taking away your freedom. You're taking away your liberties. You could say liberties. Freedoms is just awkward. I'll stop ranting now. So long as one completes his duties and does not prevent others from completing theirs, nothing is forbidden. For example, there are no laws against recreational drug use. Road trip, dude! Woo! But if someone is unable to complete his duties due to drug use, his superiors step in. Judicial proceedings are interventions. Peers express their concern and try to convince the offender to change. If rehabilitation fails, Turians have no qualms about sentencing dangerous individuals to life at hard labor for the state. Apparently, Turians don't have chronic problems with psychopaths. Aliens extinct races. Prothean Mars ruins. After 20 years of manned research outposts and nearly a century of robotic exploration, the European Space Agency's Lowell City became the first permanent settlement on Mars in 2103. Within a decade, the United States and China had founded permanent settlements as well. The South Polar region of Promethei Planum developed a, quote, Bermuda Triangle reputation. Satellites detected intermittent mass concentrations and mass effect field shifts. In 2148, prospectors working near Deseado crater discovered an underground complex, a Prothean observation post. The odd phenomena were generated by the operation and discharge of a mass effect core, struggling to function despite 50 millennia of neglect. Earth was electrified by the news. Humanity was unequivocally not alone. While courts battled over who owned the ruins, the international scientific community coordinated a massive effort to access, translate, and interpret the databanks recovered from the facility. The facility proved to be a biosciences observation post built when Homo sapiens were first evolving on Earth. While the motives of the Protheans are not certain, Translated records indicate that the facility was in regular communication with automated observation platforms in Earth orbit and on the lunar near side. The half-dozen Mass Effect spaceships found in the facility were presumably used for first-hand observation. Cool. Can I just say I've often fantasized about like first contact and how that would change Earth and humans and culture and all that stuff. And I always thought for a long time, since I was a teenager, since I first started to, I guess for lack of a better word, doubt organized religion, I always imagined like, oh, that would be the death of organized religion, first contact with an alien species. But the more I've learned about organized religion and how resilient it is, the more I think that they would probably just adapt. They'd probably just write a new set of rules, and enough gullible people would be on board with it. They'd probably just keep on trucking. Oh well. I feel like I'm very down on humans in this play session. I'm sorry, everyone. Traditional Krogan tactics were built on attritional mass unit warfare. So stupid. I can't get behind that an entire alien species for millennia has had a military that has just thrown shit at the wall until something breaks, Just crazy. Equipped with cheap, rugged gear, troop formations were powerful but inflexible. Command and control was very centralized. Soldiers in the field who saw a target contacted their commanders behind the lines to arrange fire support. Since the Genophage, the Krogan can no longer afford the casualties of the old Horde attacks. The Battlemasters are a match for any 10 soldiers of another species. To a Battlemaster, killing is a science. They focus on developing a clean, brute force economy of motion that exploits their brutal strength to incapacitate enemies with a swift, single blow of overwhelming power. This change of focus from mass unit warfare to maximal efficiency has increased employment demand in the fields of security and muscle for hire. Due to the unsavory reputation of the Krogan, most of these jobs are on the far side of the law. Battlemasters are not spit and polish, but they do believe in being well armed and equipped, preferably with a gun for each limb. They are callous and brutal, but methodical and disciplined. They use any means at their disposal to achieve their goals, no matter how reprehensible. Hostage-taking and genocide are acceptable means to ensure a quiet occupation with few Krogan casualties. The Krogan serving with Saren's forces appear to be returning to the old style of mass attritional combat. They also work in close cooperation with supporting Geth units, who fill the roles occupied by combat drones and other armies. Biotics are rare among the Krogan. Rex is a rare individual. Those that exist are viewed with suspicion and fear. The Krogan see this aura as fear as a useful quality for an officer, and often promote them. Combat drones and other high-tech equipment are likewise in short supply. Ships and vehicles. Space combat. Planetary. Have I read this one? I don't think I have. I'm going to read this one. FTL Drive Appearance. New Space Travelers ask. Apologies if I already have read this one, but I don't think I have. New Space Travelers ask, what does it look like outside a ship moving at faster than light speed? Part of the answer can be seen in a simple pane of glass. Light travels slower through glass than it does through open air. Light also moves slower in conventional space than it does in a high-speed Mass Effect field. This causes refraction. Any light entering at an angle is bent and separated into a spectrum. Objects outside the ship will appear refracted. The greater the difference between the objective, exterior, and subjective, interior speeds of light, the greater the refraction. As the subjective speed of light is raised within the field, objects outside will appear to redshift, eventually becoming visible only to radio telescope antenna. High-energy electromagnetic sources normally hidden to the eye become visible in the high blue spectrum. As the speed of light continues to be raised, X-ray, gamma ray, and even, eventually, cosmic ray sources become visible. That would be awesome. Stars will be replaced by pulsars, the accretion disks of black holes, quasars, and gamma ray bursts. Whew, I wonder what that looks like. I mean, imagine it probably just looks like a star field, only it's a different star field than what you're used to seeing, but still, that'd be neat. To an outside observer, a ship within a Mass Effect drive envelope appears blue shifted. If within a field that allows travel at twice the speed of light, any radiation it emits has twice the energy as normal. If the ship is in a field of about 200 times light speed, it radiates visible light as X-rays and gamma rays, and the infrared heat from the hull is blue shifted up into the visible spectrum or higher. Ships moving at FTL are visible at great distances, though their signature will only propagate at the speed of light. That, again, another example of why this game did such a great job. BioWare did such a great job at world building. That kind of detail. They had to have had, I'm sure, an astrophysicist, an astronomer, somebody on staff as a consultant or something, because you don't write that stuff if you don't know exactly what the hell you're talking about. Space combat, planetary assaults. Planetary assaults are complicated if the target is a habitable garden world. The attackers cannot approach the defenders straight on. The Citadel conventions prohibit the use of large kinetic impactors against habitable worlds. In a straight-on attack, any misses plow into the planet behind the defending fleet. If the defenders position themselves between the attackers and the planet, they can fire at will, while the attacker risks hitting the planet. Successful assaults on garden worlds hinge upon up-to-date intelligence. Attackers need to determine where their enemy's defenses are, so they may approach from an angle that allows them to fire with no danger of collateral damage. Note, this is not necessary for hostile worlds, of course. Once control of orbit has been lost, defensive garrisons disperse into the wilderness. An enemy with orbital superiority can bombard surface forces with impunity. The best option for defenders is to hide and collect reconnaissance in anticipation of relief forces. Given the size of a planet, it is impractical to garrison entire conquered worlds. Fortunately, colonization efforts tend to focus on building up a dozen or fewer areas. Ground forces occupy the spaceports, industrial facilities, and major population centers. The wilderness is patrolled by unmanned aerial vehicles and satellite reconnaissance. If a defender unit is spotted, airmobile rapid deployment units and satellite artillery are used to pin down and destroy them. Cool. I like that they thought out how combat works too. That's neat. Okay. Some primary entries here. I will let Talking Mick Talkface read to you. Humanity and the Systems Alliance.
The home world and capital of humanity
Earth
is entering a new golden age. The resource wealth of a dozen settled colonies and 100 industrial outposts flows back to Earth, fueling great works of industry, commerce, and art. The great cities are greening as arcology skyscrapers and telecommuting allow more efficient use of land. Earth is still divided among nation-states, though all are affiliated beneath the overarching banner of the Systems Alliance. While every human enjoys a longer and better life than ever, the gap between rich and poor widens daily. Advanced nations have eliminated most genetic disease and pollution. Less fortunate regions have not progressed beyond 20th century technology and are often smog-choked, overpopulated slums. Sea levels have risen 2 meters in the last 200 years, and violent weather is common due to environmental damage inflicted during the late 21st century. The past few decades, however, have seen significant improvement due to recent technological advances.
Kind of a mixed bag. Some optimism and some pessimism there. Planets and locations.
Pharos is a habitable world
Virmire.
in the Attic. Virmire is a lush world located on the frontier of the Attican Traverse. Its vast seas and orbital position on the inner life zone have created a wide equatorial band of humid, tropical terrain. Only the political instability of the region has impeded efforts at colonization. Many times the Citadel has opened negotiations to settle Virmire with various criminal gangs and petty dictatorships in the nearby Terminus systems. all fell apart due to internal power shifts within the opposing parties. The Citadel has written off the colonization of Virmire as impossible without significant political change. The Terminus powers themselves are unlikely to ever settle Virmire. Most lack the resources to support settlement of a virgin world, finding it more expedient to steal from their neighbors than build for themselves.
I have to say, I've always liked the shot of Virmire from space. I think it's the clouds, the thunderheads, that you can actually see the elevation, the altitude, the vertical build of the clouds. Just looks awesome. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't ever played the game, but there is a scene coming up where the Normandy is flying away from the planet where you got to get a really good shot of it. And I think it's probably actually this background with the Normandy flying out of it, but you'll see what I mean in, I don't know, probably 15 episodes or so, I guess. Right, is that the whole, that's the whole codex, yay, okay. So then let me check the journal one more time just to make sure. No, it's not the whole codex. What the hell's left?
The Asari.
No. What's left? What did I miss? Ships and vehicles. Damn. Okay, hang on. Combat drones. Right, okay. This I will take but a moment. Drones are small robots used to support and supplement organic soldiers on the battlefield. They have no artificial intelligence of any kind, but follow fixed, minimally adaptive programs. Most varieties employ Mass Effect levitation to improve mobility. All modern armies rely on veritable fleets of drones for routine soldiering, static garrisons, patrols, etc. The use of drones in non-critical duties keeps manpower needs down and reduces casualties in low-intensity conflicts. Less advanced races and cultures with less sensitivity to casualties have correspondingly fewer drones in their inventory. Drones are of little use in conventional open field battles, as they are poorly armed and armored. Not the rocket drones, man, those things kick ass. In addition to combat drones, support drones are used to assist organic units in the field. Reconnaissance drones are small, stealthy craft that screen combat units in the field and warn commanders when enemies are spotted. Electronic warfare drones supplement battlefield technicians, serving as mobile jammers and ELINT, electronic intelligence gathering platforms. Forgot to close parens there, BioWare, what the hell? Military and civilian police utilize, quote, dazzler drones equipped with powerful strobe lights to disorient and subdue intruders using non-lethal force. Drone formations are officially referred to as wings. That is, deploy the 4th Assault Drone Wing on the left flank! Exclamation point. Common soldiers often refer to friendly formations as flocks and enemy formations as swarms. Cool. Right, that is the end of the codex. Okay, now, just to check, we're going to find Dr. Salian, who is in the Kepler Verge in the Herschel system. Right, Kepler Verge, Herschel system. Here we go.